good to see a good bunch out here in Oroville tonight, and for the folks that put it on, appreciate it. It's a lot of work, but it's important, I think, in our system of government to get out there and see people and communicate with folks. The last few years have been kind of a blur. We've had long sessions in Olympia. 2 out of the last 3 years, I think we got home the 1st or 2nd of July after getting over there on the first week of January. This year's probably going to be worse. We've got a number of budget things coming up. We've got the McCleary decision on school funding, which has gotten really complex. We've put, I don't know, an extra 3 or 4 billion in the last few years into schools. The Supreme Court has decided, I think the original decision was okay. You know, we need to put school funding first, only thing in the Constitution that we're required to do. So I think the first go around was a good wake up. The second one is sort of like they're deciding where it needs to go and how much we need to spend and a whole bunch of other things that I think probably should be in the legislature's hands. So I think the Supreme Court's overstepped, but all in all, we've got to get it figured out and deliver a plan to get the money where they want it, or somewhere near that by 2017. So this next session could be another long one, I'm afraid. For Shelley and I, we've been over there for 6 months most of the time lately, and then we get home. 3 years ago we had Carlton Complex. Last year we had the Okanagan. Pretty much takes up the rest of the summer. So it's been a scramble just keeping up with things, and that's why I appreciate this opportunity to get out and see people, because we've been really, really tied up. This year it's been wolves. Be lucky we've got kind of a different wolf program here in Okanagan County that seems to be working a little better than over in Ferry and Stevens. They just seem to be having a hard time getting established over here. They're established just east of us. We've got the Profanity Peak Pack is operating in Ferry County, about 15 miles east of my ranch, actually. And we've got, it's a real mess in Ferry County right now. People are really nervous. Tensions are running high. They have a wolf protocol that says after 4 livestock killed, then they go into a lethal program on the wolves. The trick with that is for every confirmed kill you get, because the standards are really high, there's usually 6 or 7 or 8 laying out in the brush somewhere, and you're not going to hear about that. One family over there, I'm not going to name names, they've taken enough abuse already. They've lost probably between 50 and 100 head to this one pack, and you'll hear about the 4 or 5 or 6. That's what the cost is. Wyoming says that for every one you find, there's 6 or 7 more out in the bushes. So huge impact. Where the people I'm hearing from right now are the smaller ranchers, because they've been hit a little bit, but it's mainly been one of the biggest ranches over there. They've suffered 90% of the losses, and all the smaller ranchers are telling me if they pull their cows out of there, which they're doing right now, pulling them out early. They've been feeding them all summer, and last summer and the summer before, they haven't hit us. But if those cows go out early, we're the only ones left up there, and we will be done the first year. We've had some interesting alliances the last couple of years. Shelley and I have worked hard with some groups. I have a hard time even letting their name come out of my mouth, so I won't. But they have actually, for the environmental groups, made a commitment to us 2 years ago that if we had a situation like this where they've done their best to avoid problems, that they would support the lethal take. And they did. They stuck with it. So I'm giving credit where credit's due. And that's been a help in this phase right now, but it's still, you can't believe what's going on. We had a WSU professor come out and tell a bunch of lies on the front page of the Seattle Times. He's changed jobs now. I've been advocating that they send him out to Forks to study mountain beavers, maybe. Something kind of in his talent range. It was all retracted, but the damage is done. We've got death threats. We had, Shelley and I took some other legislators up there, and they were worried coming over here, will we be safe from the wild citizenry we have here? And I told them that if our people were not law-abiding, we wouldn't have any wolf problems either. That's kind of the crux of it. But the first thing that happened in the parking lot, Fish and Wildlife took all the mug shots of people that are threatening to kill anybody out there that is harming wolves. And that kind of got their attention. So it's all I can say is it's really tense over Ferry and Stevens County right now. A couple other packs are going south too. anyway, we've gotten buried in that thing 12 hours a day on the phone, trying to keep everything going and keep it on track. We're making progress, but it's an everyday thing. I'll wrap up so you guys can get some questions if anybody wants to take a shot. But it's been quite a ride. I've enjoyed serving. I've learned so much. 5 minutes. Okay. You learn things that you don't know. I mean, there's things I know coming here from Okanagan County, and it's a really broad experience. And we've got budget issues. The education thing is huge. It's been a real good experience. My first 2 LAs are legislative assistants are here right now. Sheila and Shelley. Sheila went over the first time I went, and neither one of us knew anything, but we learned fast. And then Shelley was after that. So right now I'm in between legislative assistants. I've been without for 2 months, so it's really amazing that I made it even here tonight, because they tell me where to go and do. Yeah, they're shaking their heads. But anyway, let's just open up for questions. Anybody have anything? Yes, sir.
Can you define how the Supreme Court come up with the impetus to sue the legislature for not funding schools sufficiently? Did they give you guys a definition on where they got the power to do that?
Well, yeah, we elected them. That's part of the problem. But we've got a Supreme Court that I think is out of control. I think their original decision, I think, was probably okay, because it does say in the Constitution that's the only thing we're required to fund is education. It says amply fund. So there's a lot of different ideas what amply is. So they maybe had, I think, in the first place, the right to say we're not amply funding education, and then the legislature does what it does and tries to work through the budget process. The problem is with their second decision, they're finding us $100,000 a day right now. And they're talking about coming with handcuffs and that sort of thing, and we'll see what happens. But the second one, I think, goes way beyond the separation of powers, and you've got your judicial realm and your legislative and then the executive. And they're being real prescriptive on how and where and how much, and really it's a budget process that they've got no business in. I think we should probably take it out of the Supreme Court's budget, if that would help a little bit. Wow, you're an easy bunch.
Joel,
Yeah.
expand on what your responsibilities are over there in the legislature as part of the leadership team.
Well, we all have committees. I'm on the Rules Committee and the Ag Natural Resource Committee, which has been really good, for a lot of the big issues in this area. And then I am deputy leader of the House Republican Caucus, which is another really big help. That's the number 2 position. So I'm in a lot of the end game negotiations. I'm not so much in the weeds, but at the end of it, I'm in the room with the governor, which isn't something that's that much fun, I can tell you that, but it helps on some of the things that we're doing here. It helped a lot the last couple of years. We got some fire bills passed that have helped. We got a long ways to go on that. It also helped a lot getting funding for the aftermath. I think we got $4 or $5 million for some of the recovery stuff around here, and not all in the 7th, a lot of it was in the 12th district, but that position it gets you in the room for all the negotiations, and it's a key spot. You can also stop some things. We got a minute.
Okay.
Oh, exit.
That's good.
Thank you very much.
Sandy Belzer is here as a surrogate for Steve McLaughlin, Commissioner of Public